I'm going to give you 10 techniques about how you can develop your psychic abilities, or what I like to call extrasensory abilities. Now, to use these 10 techniques, you have to kind of practice them as much as possible. See it like developing a muscle. If you don't do it often, it doesn't get stronger. So here we go with my top 10 tips of how you can develop your psychic abilities. 1. Meditation. Every day. Every single day. There's so many benefits. Not only do you become much more self-aware, but you can tune into source energy and your third eye and to flex that muscle a lot more better. There's so many benefits also to meditation that are beyond just developing your psychic abilities. So after about 8 weeks of consistent meditation, your brain patterns fire in a very different way and you become much more calm and relaxed. One of the key things about becoming a psychic, and some people think, gosh, because I'm connecting or trying to connect with my extrasensory abilities or my spirit guides, that actually my brain must be working overtime. No, in order to connect to source, or to connect with your higher self or your guides, or to tap in to the energy so that you can develop your psychic abilities, is actually you have to learn to quieten your mind, to allow it to process things slower in order for you to get that information. Meditation is the number one thing to increase your abilities. Not only that, things start flowing to you. You start to identify what your primary extrasensory ability is so that you can develop that a bit more personally. 2. Trust your feelings. Trust your feelings or your hunches or that gut feeling that you have. And a good way of knowing that you are developing your psychic abilities more is that, keep a journal. Every time you had a gut feeling about something or that you felt anything quite, intuitively, write it down and then keep a tab, keep a score of how many times you were right. And you will find that 9 times out of 10, your gut, your hunches, your intuition was correct. Trust and belief is what I teach people all the time. Trust and belief in what you're feeling, what you're sensing, what you're hearing, what you're seeing. Trust is the biggest way of developing your psychic abilities. And I often say, start with a journal. Number 3, take care of yourself, take care of your mind, take care of your body. You're no good to anybody if you are too tired, that you're not eating right, that you don't feel good about yourself, whether this is physically or whether this is actually mentally as well. So again, mindfulness things to make sure that the way you're thinking about things is much more positive than it is negative. And where you're struggling with that, then that's the time when you're trying to develop your psychic abilities to spend some time, particularly in your meditations or any talk therapies or any holistic approaches, to actually really bring the balance. Because if your mind is cluttered with things that are distracting you, particularly if they're negative, then you'll find it much more of a challenge to actually have the focus to be able to develop your abilities. Same comes true when it comes to the physical. Even if there is something that does ail you, causes some difficulties, is to make sure that when you're practicing that you're doing it in times when actually you're more at ease than dis-ease also. So, good food, lots of water, practice fasting at least once a week. For those of you who feel like they want to discard sort of meat, then that would be a really positive thing in terms of your third eye and your pineal gland. But overall, it doesn't matter how you personally do it and how it's personal to you, taking care of yourself is the most important thing. 4. Work with your spirit guides, and as you do the first technique, which is to meditate, they will start to be more apparent to you, and you'll learn your extrasensory ability, which is your primary one, and you can develop the rest, which you'll start to notice about how you get information, either through feelings, through sight, through clear knowing, or through hearing as well. But the best way, first of all, is to trust that you have guides, because we all have them. That's how I work. But just simply ask. Whenever we ask our guides for any guidance or support, they are there. Now, sometimes it's not always obvious or easy, but they are always there championing you, helping you grow and learning also through you. So ask, because you're not on your own. They're only a thought away. And then feel in or listen to or see into or know into what it is that they are showing you. Number 5, trust. When you trust yourself, when you trust what it is you're feeling, thinking or seeing, and you believe that, you build up an energy kind of bond more with the universe. And the more that you do that, the more stronger you get, the more powerful you get. So trusting yourself, trusting your intuition, trusting your gut, trusting what's happening for you when you have meditations, trusting when you're working with other people to give them insight. Trust is the most important thing. The more that you can trust yourself and trust your flow and trust your direction, the more that you trust information, the more powerful your psychic abilities will develop. 6, open your chakra centers. We all have 7 chakras. Actually, we have more than those, but there's 7 primary main ones. Learn to open them. And you can do that by learning Reiki techniques that you can do for yourself. But to do that in your practices, particularly do that every day, just like you would do your meditation, and you imagine them all opening, versing in their own sort of colours, but then imagining there's a white light also streaming through the entire centre, all the way from the ground and up through your crown. By doing that practice, becoming open in all those chakras, you will develop everything to do with your psychic abilities in terms of trust, in terms of what it is you hear and see. It's such a strong primary thing, but also so very, very healing. So it kind of goes hand in hand with taking care of yourself in mind, body and spirit. So Reiki and opening your chakra centers is a must when it comes to developing your psychic abilities. 7, start to read people's energy, people's perceptions. We all do it, and we just don't understand that it's also part of psychic development. So when we first meet people, we have an intuition or a feeling, or there's an energy about them that's either, gosh, I really love you, or there's something that I'm not sure about you, or is a bit off. Start to trust that some more, because once you do that, you can learn to kind of work with people in a much more better way. You need to be so open, hence why working with your chakras is a really good idea, and meditation is a really good idea, because once you can tap into energy, because energy never lies, I can tell you that from doing this for 20 years, it never lies. But if you can then almost put yourself into the perception of where that person and how they perceive life, and perhaps why it is they're giving off that energy, you can work much more effectively with them. So start to notice, sometimes you can people watch and start picking up on energies. When you go to the cafe and you're getting your coffee, read the energy of the person who's serving you. Start to take notice. Start to notice the different tones, like a beautiful collage. We all have it. And start to recognise that. The more you can do that, what happens is that you start to recognise the different energy vibrations of people. So then that way, when you start to tap into the person you're reading with, or the person that they want you to read for, you can break through that mist a lot more successfully, because you've been teaching yourself quite often to kind of navigate that and understand the different tones and why it is, but also to put yourself in that perception, that position, to understand why it is somebody might be having that day or not. Number 8, I want to call this one sort of tools, and I mean spiritual tools, to be able to help enhance your psychic abilities. So there are so many that people use, and sometimes they're not aware that they're using it or not, but there's psychometry, which is about holding the object of somebody to feel into what it is you're picking up from that, and using that as a practice. There is tarot cards, which are used to almost like a battery boost, to help you to kind of decipher and to figure out what it is that you're being shown or that you're feeling, to kind of navigate that much more successfully. But people do all sorts, from runes to so many different platforms. Test them out for yourself. Find out what tool may help you to bring more clarity to what it is that you're trying to develop, particularly in the early stages. As you develop and you trust and you build, and your third eye much more expands with your meditation and your chakra work, you'll find that you won't need to do that anymore. Because again, the more you flex the muscle, the more you practice this, the better that you'll become. So number 9, keep a journal. It's such a basic thing, but keeping a journal, and you might have one for dreams and one for just like spiritual experiences, but whatever you have, write it down. So I have a number of people, particularly when they're becoming much more awakened, that they start seeing like numbers, and they start seeing like synchronicities in the most bizarre ways. Write them down in your journal, but also write about what it is that was happening in your day that you had to learn about that. And also your dreams, more importantly, as well, because as you become much more of an open vessel to this, and you're trusting and you're connecting with that kind of source energy that's going to be flowing more of that to you, the more it will also seep in through your dreams. seeping through your meditation. So keeping a journal, going through it, going back towards it, just writing, the aspect of just writing it down sends an intention that you're learning more and you're eager to learn more. So keeping a journal is super important. Number 10, learn. Don't just learn from me, learn from as many spiritual teachers as you possibly can. You could do this so easily these days through YouTube videos, to your local church, whatever works for you, because there's no one true method of how to do this right. We're all individuals and we all reach people in very, very different ways. Just like I reach a pool of people, there's something that you could do that would reach a certain different type of people that helps awaken, enlighten, heal, give insight and guidance. So research. Be the best version of what you want to be when it comes to developing your psychic abilities, and do it in a unique, genuine and authentic way. So that was my top very quick tips about how you can start to unlock your psychic abilities, and I really hope they've been useful. To learn more about me, or to learn more about how to unlock your psychic abilities, again, do your research, or you can check me out at my website at bellathesecretpsychic.com. So it's been a joy to give you these tips, and I hope to hear from you again. Take care.